So with our handsome Mr. Leon, ready, sir? So last time I know we discussed a little bit with working some of his paws up on the target bowls. He was a little bit uncertain because they're, again, novel item, and he was not quite as comfortable to give it a try. So this time I made sure to bring out my flat target so we can try a bit on the flat target and then transfer the flat one onto the raised bowl. So we'll try a little bit. Remember too, if your puppy is a little bit unsure, I sometimes just have them go check it out when they're exploring, feed for any behavior you'd like to have happen again. He thinks it might be a target for his caboose, which is kind of adorable. So right now he's using it like a placemat, which is fine. But we're gonna get him up and moving. So we'll do a little find it. Nice. And then from here, I'm just gonna see if I can get him to target the lovely mat with his toes, yes. So right now, we're kind of doing a little bit of, again, some shaping as well, yes. But also we're gonna be capturing behaviors that might be the beginning stages of the skill. So for the handsome guy to feel more comfortable, using an item like a flat mat that doesn't have the same feel as a bowl that is hollow can be another great way to build his comfort and confidence, but at his rate. So he's been doing a pretty good job going. This was, again, a little target that I take from, I believe, what is it? It's like a chair cover, and I cut the strings off. But it seems to work well because it's big enough for most babes to get both their front feet on, even Mr. T, and be able to work it that way. So after he's done a couple nice little reps on the flat target, we're going to go ahead and bring it a little bit closer. And right now, I'm going to see if I can get him to lure onto the target. Yes, nice job. So this way, he's like, oh, that was intriguing. So now he's feeling a lot more comfortable transferring the flat target into also using his feet on the raised bowl. He's still a little bit unsure, but he's still doing a very nice job giving it a try. Good job. If he was a lot more hesitant, oh, you sunk my bowl. I wonder if I grabbed my sad broken one. Nope, this one's okay. You're just getting to be a big boy. So if he feels a little bit spooky, we do sometimes layer them up because as the boys get a little bit bigger, then they might start to sink through the rubber. So we're going to make it a little bit more stable. Good job. If you were to practice with your Paws Up or Step Up at home, I would highly recommend to pick an item that is going to be durable. So obviously you saw the bowl started to sink a little bit under his weight. He didn't get too flustered, but we did have to adjust it and then place two bowls, one on top of the other. Yes, nice job to make it a little bit more durable. He's like, that is peculiar. Yes, good job. Smart man. But if when trying at home, you are finding a repurposed item or you've got a little kid's step stool or something of that nature, make sure that it's not one that collapses under weight or that if the flooring is tile or slippery, that it doesn't slide underneath the puppy. Because if it does go to move all of a sudden, it might be very flustering and get them rather overwhelmed. Good job checking in. So throughout his practice, I'm also giving him little periods to take a little bit of a break by moving away and doing a find it. And then from there, he can reorient back to me and I could feed him for that engagement. Yes, nice job. His little freckles on his nose just kill me. Ready? Find it. And we'll try again. Ready? And the wilds, we're doing a very nice job wrestling. Ready? Pause up. Yes. So if you're starting to get more comfortable and confident that your puppy is going to perform a skill, you can then preemptively say your cue word. I tend to, in the beginning, not use it until I'm pretty certain, ready, pause up, that he's going to perform it. Otherwise, I find that I might be asking for a skill or saying the word, and then the puppy has no idea what I'm talking about, but they also don't rock the behavior. Nice job. And we want him to think that when he hears the slogan, he either, one, sort of understands it a little bit better, more with his body, or, for example, he's had a few reps to practice, and then I start pairing it with the word. So again, pause up. Yes. So even if, again, he wiggles it, any good attempt is beneficial. So right here, yeah, nice job. I sometimes will use my hand as, for example, a visual to kind of use almost like a target. He is getting, oh, I dropped one. He is getting a little tired because he keeps wanting to sit or lie down. So maybe what we'll do is, because he was doing some very nice wrestling with Mr. T, well, technically with all of them, he is going to maybe be a perfect candidate to work a little bit more with the bed and working that place behavior. But before we go into that bad boy, I just want to see if we can try a little bit. He's like, I go to my target, smart man. So we're going to try and go from the flat target and see if I can get him to do the paws up again, but on the bowl itself. Ready? Paws up. Yes, nice. So even if it starts off with one foot, very beneficial. Ready? Paws up. He's like, do I have to? And let's say, for example, we got a couple good reps out of him. He could be getting a little bit fatigued. Maybe he's still a little unsure about the exercise. So you're not really looking for, again, perfection, especially in the beginning or even later, but more so progress. So did we start at one step and maybe we're slowly progressing? He's all about this red one. Yes, nice job. So maybe he prefers the flat targets to start and you can build into your raised bowls. Ready? So we'll maybe try. I have to actually, I forgot to reload, so I just gotta grab some more of his little snackers over here. And then that way we can be ready to rumble. You ready? So for his place or bed position, ready? We'll have him go, chewing is optional from earlier. Goodness me, ready, bed. Nice job, yes. So for working a bit with the place, I would just go ahead and in the beginning, like we mentioned prior, is make it fun to be on the target itself and feed a few reps, even if this is not quite your stay yet. We want him to start thinking that going to the target has a lot of really great value. Oh, we dropped one, that was my bad, here you go. And then that way you can start to create a lot of good associations with going and vegging or picking this target spot. You may even find too for him is as he's getting more comfortable, you might be able to get a lovely down position from him versus, for example, a sitting position on the cot. But you might want to rotate through both so he can feel comfortable, performing either one. He's doing a very nice job. So right here, again, I like to feed between his little front feet to kind of keep his body low and keep him from trying to meet me halfway and trying to grab that food. So like right now, the reps are also a bit short and sweet. So I don't want to be lingering too long between each rep because from his perspective, this maybe has very little value and we want him to feel it's attainable and that he can perform the skill and find it valuable. Nice. He's doing a very good job. He says he's very excited, but doing a very good job holding back. We got our airplane going by. Lots of good sounds happening in the building today. Beautiful. So if let's say we weren't necessarily ready doing a full legit stay, I still want to make sure that when, there's the snack that rolled under his tummy. So I still want him to find that the value for the beginnings of stay only happen while he's in the position, not for when he leaves. So to build up a longer but also safe situation for your stays where you could use them in safety situations. Let's say your puppy gets out and you want them to hold still as opposed to come further into the roadway or come out of the yard into another zone. Having your puppy rock a stay position for an emergency can be very helpful. So if we get him to think that being stationary is the best part of the stay, then you might be able to then get a safety situation out of him for stationary position while other things might be going on around him. So again, we're going to feed for this lovely little settle on the mat. Nice, he's doing a very good job. Yes. What a smart boy. So if you're finding he's doing really well with certain setups, you want to make sure that you're working through those 3Ds like we mentioned a little bit prior in some of his sessions. So right now the duration is not so long that I'm losing him between the reps. If my duration was like 30, 40, 50 seconds, I'm more than likely going to start losing maybe his attention span or his ability to hold still. So for right now, my reps might be between, let's say, 5 to 10 seconds tops. And I'm feeding him intermittently throughout this stationary stay position. Smart boy. And then I would recommend to pick a slogan again for releasing your babe from the stay. For my guys, it tends to be all done. Other folks may choose, again, release, free time, all set. I do stay away from okay because the okay is typically going to be used for recalls in general in the environment. But also your wait is going to be where you would apply your recall practice. So your babe could be waiting and you call them through the doorway, or they're waiting and they get released to their food. For this one, when your babe is in a stay, you have to go back and retrieve your puppy, so there's no coming to you from that spot. Stays can happen anywhere, so don't feel stay has to be on a dog bed or a blanket that you magically transport everywhere you go. Stays can happen on different surfaces in different environments, but the rules would be the same. The pup would be stationary until you go and retrieve them from their stay spot. So let's say I'm gonna, so tired. So let's say I'm gonna end this gorgeous little stay from him. I'm gonna go back and feed him his little morsels. And then what I'll do is once he's done finding them and gobbling them up, then we would have our slogan for the being done with the behavior. So you might say, again, all done or whatever slogan. And then we're gonna get up. He's like, oh, do I have to? And no snacks are given for getting out of our stay. We just want him to think the best part is while we're in it. So but I'm just gonna, again, I forgot to grab more of a stash and my stash is way too low today. So I gotta reload a little bit more and then we'll be ready to rumble some more. Because he has been also doing a really nice job with his puppy push-ups. So those have been coming along really, really pretty. So remember that if your babe is sometimes struggling with different body mechanics, there can be moments where for some babes, the texture will also affect behavior. So I'm just gonna move the raised bowls for a second. So if, for example, your puppy is trying to work puppy push-ups like on tile or hard surfaces that don't have much traction, a lot of pups actually can start to become overwhelmed in those environments because either one, they've slipped or they've hurt themselves, or in general, they have a really hard time just holding their position because it's slippery. So we might, again, when working some of these sits and downs and stands, is make sure you're picking maybe a zone that has some good traction or footing. So outdoors can be nice. If you have a home that has certain carpeted sections, that can be helpful. You could also get just a simple small runner or area rug that has the rubber material underneath so the carpet or the area rug doesn't slide back and forth. And then for a lot of puppies, that becomes a really nice little station, but it can be a great place to work these puppy push-ups. He's so flexible right now that his body's facing one direction and his back end is the other. You ready? So we'll do another little stand. So if in the beginning he's unsure, I want to see if I can give him the chance to figure it out. If he was really unsure, I'm going to help him by luring him through the position in the beginning. Ready? So again, down. Yes. Because I know when you had mentioned in the beginning, the downs were a bit harder for him. So, but right now he's doing a very nice job. So again, stand. Yes. So you want to go from your food being the thing presented first to then the food is given after the behavior has been accomplished. So I know I don't really love the wordage, but it makes a lot of sense to us as people. View your food in the beginning as like the bribe to get the behavior to happen, but then later you want to go from that to now the paycheck. Ready? Find it. So we'll do a couple little find it, so maybe some nice little name recognition. Leon, come. Nice. That's a very nice meandering moment. He says that's as much oomph as he can offer. So obviously with this name recognition and a little bit with those recalls, I know you guys have little Miss M at home. So ready? Leon. Yes. So I would recommend, like I normally always have a multi-dog household as well. So I tend to want to say whoever I want and then what I want from them. So if you're getting double trouble, no offense to them, they might hear the recall word and then they both start coming. So I would either, you can do it a couple different ways. Some folks have 2 different words for each particular dog when it comes to a recall. And then otherwise, for my guys, I normally would just say their name and then ask for the check-in. Be it with me, it was, again, the recall word was come. So, but I know for Mr. B, his recall word is here. So you will have to figure out what works well for your family and your range of comfort or likes. Leon, come. Yes. You can tell he's tired because he was doing a lot of crazy man rustles today. So as the weeks have progressed, he's gotten so much more comfortable, which also brings up for Mr. L, he lost his little find it. So we'll do a couple extras over there. So I know this is the last class of the 4 weeks. So for Mr. L and Miss W, I know they're not really registered for something else after this. I'm not saying you have to register for another program. You can always take a pause. But I know, for example, Sam is going to be offering the Doggy Day School program on Mondays, when my next round will be ending sort of towards the end of June. Then I'm going to take July and August off and then start up again in September. So, but she also has extended hours on Friday for her structured play. And that, for example, could be another great way to get him out and still exploring and playing with more novel friends versus just his sibling at home. So no pressure to do so, ready, find it. But we may find to keep this maintaining and kind of progressing into adolescence, that this could be something that could be very beneficial for him and for Miss W if you're interested. If you've got a lot of fun summer plans, you can always take a pause and come back later in the fall or whatever feels good for you guys. So we'll try another little sit. Yes. So if, let's say, for example, he's gotten much better with these verbal and or visual cues, my food is no longer in the hand that I was using originally. So I might do stand and then yes to feed. And then, like, let's say, for example, our sit, he's like, did you throw it? I did not. Right there. Yes. And I feed him for that. So again, if we're working, like, let's say the down, I'm going to, again, just lure with my hand, but it's empty. And then I feed right as he goes into it. Good job. You ready? So maybe we'll do a little bit of loose leash walking because you've been doing such a good job. So if when you're practicing loose leash walking and it's not going as well, I know the last week we did a little bit with Mr. B, for example, rocking a longer training leash. Remember that those longer leads can be very helpful when helping your puppy start to orient back to you, but then also be able to explore a little bit ahead and bounce back from that environment. Ready? Find it. So again, what I'm looking for him to do is, after going and getting a little distracted, if he'll come back and orient back to me. He says, I don't know, maybe he should go back to his sleeping position on the bed. Yes, nice job. So in the beginning too, if loose leash walking, you really want to have him hone in on one side, start to, for example, maybe even when you're stationary at times, feed a few reps while they're by the leg you'd prefer. So if, let's say, for example, he's really finding this hard, I might, while he's right next to me, feed while he's on the side of my leg. Because if you think about it from his perspective, most of the fun happens while he's in front of you. So a lot of puppies try to cut in front of you to be in front of your body to do that check-in. So if you're finding that he doesn't understand how to rock a sit while he's next to you, or he doesn't quite know how to do a down from the side, that's where he just hasn't learned how to generalize the skill into those sort of venues. Nice. Leon. Yes. Good job. Ready, sit. Yes, he's doing very, very well. Smart boy. But with the handsome guy, we'll probably give him a little breather and we'll work a few more skills after this. But he really is doing a stellar job in the program. And I love seeing how comfortable and confident he's become. Because at times when he first came in, he was a little bit more hesitant, which again, new environment, new situations, new puppies, new person can be very overwhelming, just like with anything new we start. But he did a very nice job transitioning from being unsure to now very comfortable, which has been a very nice progression for him. Smart boy. So we'll do a little find it and we'll give him a little breather. What a good job Mr. L did today.